Hey there. How's it going? Okay. Is it because there's something in front of my face or because the camera's not working? Okay. I wonder if I can see you, and I think if I flip the screen so you can see me, if I do it like then it messes with my live view. Does that make sense? So the downside is you don't get to look at me, but then it gives a better side-by-side screen for my video, if that makes sense. Can you hear me okay?
Follow us on Instagram at Radio St. George.
We still have a minute or two to go.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Ray Beyer, inviting you to climb on board the Midnight Special.
I was trying to remember things I wanted to tell you ahead of time.
Have a laugh or two. You'll hear diverse
and I
artists
mentioned
from
please
the
don't curse on the
traditional to
air,
contemporary,
but also
from
please
all over the world.
And
meet me
didn't
right
think
here
you would
every
anyway,
week
but it occurred to
for
me that it
2
was
hours
funny.
of
I
folk
might have
music
to
and
ask.
farce,
Please
show
don't
tunes and
mention
satire,
that I got fisted
madness
in a
and
room
escape
full of
on
40
the
people the
Midnight
night that we
Special.
met.
I'm Marilyn Ray Beyer. Join me for the Midnight Special Saturday evenings at 7 on
I mean,
Radio
I figured
St. George,
you probably wouldn't say that on the air, but just...
Hey, it's me, Richie T here.
It was funny that I thought about it.
The Cultural Hall is an hour-long program about all things Mormon. Visit us online at theculturalhall.com.
You knew it happened.
In the meantime, we'll be saving a seat for you on the back row of the Cultural Hall.
You didn't
the Cultural Hall with Richie T.
I mean, it was a busy
Sundays
room. There were a lot of people.
Radio
But I
St.
thought you were aware of what happened
FM.
over in the middle of the room while you were chilling on the
Music
couch.
from the movies on Real Music. Mondays at 1 on Radio St. George 100.3 FM.
If you want more of that story later. All right. Hey, we're coming up live. Can you hear that music?
KDXI St. George. Radio St. George at 100.3 FM. And we welcome you to the Extraordinary Talk Show, a show to help you understand yourself and the world from a new perspective. And in the process, help you find your own personal extraordinary. And now your host for the Extraordinary Talk Show, Della Hill.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Extraordinary Talk Show. Extraordinary Talk Show with your host, Della Hill. This happy Wednesday. Guys, I have an exciting guest for you today. Let me start with the same stuff as always. Really quick. As always, I don't expect you to believe a single thing that I say. What I ask you is to not believe. And going from there, let's jump right into our guest, Simon Kaufman. Simon is a comedian, and I met Simon last spring, I think it was, nearly about a year ago. That's how long it took us to get this thing happening. And I met you in Las Vegas at, I think it was just an after party. And you and I sat down on the couch and had a funny chat. And we decided that we should do this chat on the radio one time. We sure did. Here we finally are. Well, I'm glad it didn't take us a whole year. Okay, let me read your bio. For Simon, there are many problems in the world. Luckily, we have Simon Kaufman to solve them for us on stage. Simon Kaufman's performances are a form of social commentary on society, taking a stoic philosophical viewpoint towards his life. Simon jokes about growing up in a Jewish home in the inner city and having 2 sets of friends, being the only white guy on many of his little league sports teams, and being exposed to both the Jewish culture as well as the minority inner city culture has left Simon with a rich understanding of all aspects of the American spectrum that few get to have. From the city to the country, Simon's jokes appeal to everybody. Simon has performed stand-up on Comcast Cable and Up Late Northwest. He's appeared on Bravo TV's Millionaire Matchmaker. I'd like to watch that episode. And was in the movie Silver Skies with George Hamilton and Dick Van Patten. When you sent me this, it says that you lived in Hawaii, but I'm pretty sure you don't live in Hawaii anymore. Is that correct? Perfect. Well, I hope that you're having a good time touring and checking out a lot of things. Didn't you say you're moving to Oregon? That's great. I'm really, really thrilled to hear that. Is it a different vibe in the audience since everybody's back now? And it definitely helps. Now, one thing it says in your bio that I didn't get all the way to the end, but it says that you practice yoga and transcendental meditation. And I've never done the full transcendental meditation, but I've looked into it, and I'm pretty fascinated by it. Tell me, are you good about your practice? Do you stick with it? Do you do your twice a day? Was this on the Jewish side of the family? Wow. Well, that's pretty fantastic. I've heard stories of schools where they had kids failing everything and fights every day, and they introduced transcendental meditation, and within weeks the fights stopped or decreased, and then eventually nearly stopped, and grades went up. People were happier, and just by having kids, well, it's not just by sitting still, but by using that meditation, it transformed not only the kids, but the entire school. So I thought that was pretty fascinating. That's really, really pretty cool. What would That's a really fascinating perspective. Thank you for sharing that. And that really is interesting. And maybe that's why some people, and many of us, have a resistance to meditation in general, is because we are in fear of the things that might come up when we're too quiet in our heads for too long. Mm-hmm. That there is an empty space within us. Thank you for explaining it like that. Um, I can definitely see that, and I can see how I've had my own struggles come up in meditation and in my own similar growth. And it really is fascinating. But I do think that it's our fear of what might come up that holds us back more than what actually comes up. Sure. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You've got to feel to heal. Please do. Please do. Sure. Wow. That's fantastic. And I think that's a fabulous statement, too, saying, I'm not a sucker. I got trapped in something. Because that's true for all of us about something. Every single one of us got sucked into an idea or a belief. And all of us got sucked into something similar. And we got to realize we're not suckers. Everybody gets trapped in these things. And I think it helps to know that. That's really, really fascinating. One thing about meditation, too, that I think intimidates people is if they hear about transcendental meditation and they look into that and realize that there's some extensive training and cost that is associated with it, and then they think, well, I can't just sit down and make my mind be quiet, so then they just give up on meditation. And one thing I've always tried to encourage people is to do it anyway, because you can't get it wrong. And I can tell you, the day that I sat down and meditated for the first time with real intent for myself and making my life better, my life changed that day. My life took on a different path starting that day. And I sure as heck wouldn't go back. And in fact, I certainly wouldn't be here. I wouldn't even be doing this show had I not gone home from work and meditated that day. That's a really good question. It's my thinking changed. I started looking at things differently. I started seeing information and understanding in places where I hadn't seen it before. Gaining understanding, that was really a tremendous big part of it, because at that point in time, I had a lot of questions about life. And I was looking for answers, and I was not finding a lot of answers externally. And when I started looking internally, the answers started pouring out. And I was able to use some of those answers and follow some of those answers and make some really, really great changes in my life that have made me happier. It's made me a happier person. And a lot of good things have come from that. A lot of good things have come from that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Right. It's not a thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. You can't keep up with them. Mm-hmm. It absolutely does, yeah. One way to say it is see the thought, don't be the thought. I've heard that said before, and I think that fits right there really well. Wow. That is, Simon, thank you, because I have taught meditation and I have never heard that way of explaining it. So that's really fantastic. Thank you for that. So I want to know, that's what we're trying to do here, is just plant some seeds of truth in some people's brains. So, and like I told you, this show goes really quick and we're down to less than 3 minutes left. I want to know from you, what changed in your life from meditation? What can you say is different or better in your life because you practice yoga and meditation and things like that? And maybe you've been doing it long enough, it's hard to say. Okay. Uh-huh. Ah, I agree. You're not on that vibration. Hey, Simon, we have 30 seconds left. So I wish I had another half hour for you to keep talking because I want you to just keep saying all the things you've been saying. But instead, we have to say goodbye. So you can hang on with me for a minute after I say goodbye on the show. But thank you so much for coming on and sharing your perspective and your information and your knowledge and your great way of explaining that with us. Real quick, where can people find you? Fantastic. Perfect.
You've been listening to The Extraordinary Talk Show with Della Hill. Search YouTube and Facebook, Spotify, or Podbean for video and podcasts of this show, or go to radiostgeorge.com. We'll see you next week for another edition of The Extraordinary Talk Show.
From the Women in Classical Music, Feminine Fusion, Fridays at noon on Radio St. George 100.3.